like I've said, when she gets to the WNBA, she's gonna be surrounded by more talent. And I didn't know the quality of talent that she has on that particular roster. If that's all true and they're healthy, what are you're not going to be to throw the house at her. She's going to be to come off of screens and catch and shoot, stuff that she's strong at doing now.
When a rookie starts calling shots without saying a word, you know power has shifted. And in Indiana, that shift has a name: Caitlin Clark. She walked into the WNBA as a 22-year-old phenomenon. Ticket prices tripled. Fever home games sold out for the first time in years. Broadcast networks fought over streaming rights. But the real story isn't what happened on the court, it's what happened behind closed doors. Because according to insiders, ever since Clark arrived, nothing inside the Indiana Fever has been the same. Not the locker room, not the culture, and definitely not the balance of power. Sources close to Pacers sports and entertainment claim Steve Simon, the billionaire owner of both the Pacers and the Fever, told his staff something that changed everything. Caitlin is the franchise now. Everything runs through her. And from that moment on, the Fever weren't just a team anymore. They were her team.
So overall, and I've said this before, the way you can see a league's growth is where you can see how high the bottom has gotten. Last year was the peak with Caitlin Clark. Now it comes down a little bit, but where it starts to go back up, that's where you have a new bottom.
Let's rewind to the months before the draft. Rumors say Steve Simon personally reached out to Caitlin's camp long before her name was even called. It wasn't just business, it was strategy. Multiple reports claim Simon's pitch to Clark's agents included a unique promise. She wouldn't just play for Indiana, she'd help shape it. Access to team marketing, training upgrades, and even influence on scheduling were allegedly part of the package. One insider called it a partnership, not employment, and it made sense. Simon knew she wasn't just another rookie. She was a billion-dollar brand walking into his building. By the time she signed, her management team was already coordinating directly with Pacers Entertainment on sponsorships and media rollouts. Not through the WNBA office, directly through Simon's people. On paper, it looked like efficiency. In reality, it gave Caitlin a level of leverage that no player, rookie or veteran, had ever seen in Indiana. And that leverage would soon spill into everything the Fever did. From the first day of training camp, veterans noticed the difference.
There's a reason that the league has been around for 27, 28 years and never turned a profit. And 6 teams folded and 5 teams relocated. And now it went from 12 teams to currently 13 teams, is scheduled to go to two more, expand to 15 next year, and potentially some other teams like Detroit looking to get a franchise back.
The atmosphere wasn't hostile, just different. Reporters were everywhere. Cameras followed Clark to and from practice. Even scrimmages started running on her rhythm. One veteran quietly joked, "We run on Caitlin Standard Time now." She was half kidding, but only half. Team staff reportedly adjusted daily schedules around Clark's media commitments. Film sessions started later. Public appearances were re-coordinated so Clark could fulfill sponsor duties. None of it was malicious. Everyone respected her talent. But the subtle message was clear. This team had a new gravitational center. And as one assistant coach allegedly said off-record, "You can feel the shift."
Not that I've been told. I don't anticipate, a certain level. I'm not a huge fan of minute restrictions. I think that's silly. I told them, I don't want to come back unless I'm 100% full go. Why would I be out there to play 20 minutes? I'm out there to win and give everything I have for this team.
She doesn't ask for control. The room just bends toward her. To understand how it got this far, you have to go back to Steve Simon's playbook. This wasn't random chaos. It was calculated. Simon reportedly pushed what insiders now call the blueprint, a plan to turn the Indiana Fever into the WNBA's version of a superstar-driven franchise, modeled after how the NBA built empires around LeBron, Steph, and Jordan. Internal presentations, according to staffers, emphasized player empowerment optics. Translation: make Caitlin look like the decision-maker, even if the owner is still pulling the strings. Every department, marketing, PR, even team logistics, got the same directive. Prioritize brand synergy between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. It wasn't just basketball anymore. It was business alignment, billionaire style. Executives who questioned the approach were reportedly told, "It's not about comfort, it's about conversion."
The only reason that this is being entertained, the only reason people in any mass type of scale are watching is because of Caitlin Clark.
In Steve Simon's world, empowerment wasn't charity. It was strategy, and it was about to test everyone inside that locker room, including the head coach. Stephanie White was supposed to be the steady hand guiding the Fever back to relevance. She's respected, calm, and loved by her players. But after Clark's arrival, her job description changed overnight. Her offense, built on teamwork and spacing, suddenly evolved into something else. Fewer motion sets, more isolation, more transition freedom for Clark. Reporters noticed, fans noticed. White brushed it off as adapting to personnel. But insiders say it wasn't that simple. Whenever tension arose between coach and star, ownership reportedly backed the star. Simon's office had the final word on anything that affected the product. And make no mistake, Caitlin Clark was the product.
Can we be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese.
The situation put White in an impossible spot. If she pushed back, she risked her job. If she caved, she risked losing the locker room. And one staffer summed it up perfectly. You can't coach freely when your boss already picked his favorite. It didn't take long for Clark's brand to eclipse the team's identity entirely. Hy-Vee Wilson and multiple Indiana-based sponsors tied deals directly to her image. Each campaign required joint approval from her agency and Pacers Entertainment. Even uniform photo shoots reportedly had to be cleared through her team first. Internally, marketing executives admitted that the Fever are Caitlin Clark. Every social media post was analyzed for how it performed relative to Clark's highlights. Teammates' stats? Almost irrelevant. Engagement numbers ruled everything. One insider said bluntly, "We stopped promoting wins. We started promoting moments Steve Simon personally reviewed every major ad script, signing off on tone and message."
Hot off the press, it looked like Caitlin Clark has returned to practice. Now, we know Caitlin Clark has been missing in action for about a month now. Now, she did join the team on this trip here. They kind of released this yesterday.
He wasn't just managing a player, he was managing an empire. And that empire was growing by the day. But behind the sponsorships and smiling press photos, something else was happening. The locker room, the foundation of every great team, was quietly splitting apart. At first, the tension was subtle. A few side-eye looks after press conferences, a few cryptic posts from players who felt overlooked. Then it got louder. Some veterans reportedly felt like extras in their own movie. Younger players, on the other hand, idolized Clark and leaned into her orbit. Two cultures were forming, one built on patience and process, the other on spotlight and speed. It wasn't Clark's fault. She didn't ask for any of this. But when the owner, the sponsors, and the media all orbit around one person, the environment becomes gravitational. Everything else gets pulled in, whether you like it or not. Players who once shared dinners after games now reportedly went their separate ways. Team group chats got quieter. And when someone joked about the Caitlin Clark fever in front of staff, the laughter didn't sound genuine anymore. Simon allegedly brushed it all off. "Drama doesn't matter if we're trending," he told one associate. But in sports, culture is everything, and that divide was starting to bleed into the team's play. Late in the season, insiders say the tension finally surfaced. During a film session, Clark reportedly requested more on-ball freedom, fewer off-ball decoys, more command. Stephanie White hesitated, insisting that the offense stay balanced. Hours later, word spread that Simon's office had suggested giving Clark more possessions to test her rhythm. Next game, Clark went off. 35 points, 10 assists, highlight after highlight. The Fever won big. But when the cameras caught White's face afterward, she didn't look relieved. She looked resigned. Insiders claim that was the night everyone realized what was really happening. Clark didn't have to demand control. She already had it, indirectly, through the man upstairs.
She ain't gonna be on the ball like that.
Yeah.
She's gonna be able to be off the ball. She's gonna be able to catch this ball more in her kill spots where she's more comfortable getting a bucket at. I think she has tremendous success off the top. In regards to packing out NBA stadiums and all that stuff.
One assistant put it simply, "When Steve talks, the playbook listens." Here's the irony. Clark never wanted that kind of power. She's never been loud, never been arrogant, never been the diva type. Those close to her describe her as laser-focused and almost shy off the court. But power doesn't always come from ambition. Sometimes it just happens. When your name sells tickets, your shoes sell out in 10 minutes, and your presence triples TV ratings. People treat you differently. Every move you make becomes a business decision. Every game becomes a marketing opportunity. And that's the trap Caitlin Clark now lives in. The fame, the pressure, the weight of expectations. It's all wrapped up in one thing: control. Even if she doesn't want it, everyone around her acts like she has it. That's why she keeps her words measured. That's why she never fuels controversy. She knows how fragile it all is. Because the truth is, silence can be more powerful than speaking, especially when everyone else is talking for you. By now, it's clear. Steve Simon and Caitlin Clark have built what insiders call the unspoken alliance. They don't need public statements. They don't need press conferences. Their partnership is symbiotic. Simon protects Clark's image, shielding her from criticism, ensuring her media access is tightly managed. Clark, in return, keeps performing, driving record profits and exposure. Together, they've built the most valuable women's basketball property in America. But that kind of success always has collateral damage. Executives whisper that Simon now views the Fever not as a basketball team, but as an ecosystem, one that feeds off a single superstar. And while that model works in the short term, it leaves little room for anyone else to grow. One front office source allegedly described it best: "Everyone eats when Caitlin eats, but if she ever stops, the whole thing collapses." And that's what makes this alliance both brilliant and terrifying. It's not dictatorship, it's dependence. Heading into the next season, the Fever look like a paradox. From the outside, the future is golden. Sponsorships are booming. Ticket sales are historic. Merchandise sells out faster than ever. But on the inside, questions keep piling up. Is Stephanie White safe? Can veteran players coexist in a system built for one? And if Simon keeps doubling down, can the Fever survive without fracturing completely? Sources say at least 2 players are quietly exploring off-season trade options. Others have chosen silence, smiling through interviews, but staying distant behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Simon keeps reinforcing the same message to staff: as long as Caitlin's happy, the city's happy. Maybe he's right, or maybe he's building something too fragile to last, a dynasty built on one player's shoulders. Because as every sports empire learns eventually, when you crown one person too early, everyone else eventually stops fighting for the throne. You can hide drama from the media, but not from fans. They see the tension during timeouts. They feel the awkward energy in post-game interviews. They notice when teammates stop celebrating each other and start celebrating alone. Fans might not know every detail, but they know when something feels off. They saw it with Angel Reese in the Sky. They saw it with Diana Taurasi in Phoenix. And now they see it in Indiana. Because this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about control. Who has it? Who's losing it? And who's pretending not to care? So here's the question that every Fever fan has to ask right now. Is Caitlin Clark saving Indiana or changing it forever? She's the biggest name in the sport. She's earned every bit of her success. But even greatness has a price. If Steve Simon keeps pulling strings and Caitlin keeps carrying the weight, this franchise could become unstoppable or unrecognizable. Because when a billionaire and a superstar find common ground, it doesn't just change a team, it changes an entire league. And right now, the Indiana Fever aren't just rewriting their playbook, they're rewriting the WNBA's power structure. If you've noticed the shift too, drop a fire emoji in the comments, smash that like button, and make sure you're subscribed. Because the next chapter in this story might just expose how deep this power game really goes.